Hey there, dog lovers! Today we're going to talk about how to introduce your dog to the nail grinder. Now, Ben already has an awesome video on the Canine of Mine channel showing his nail grinding process, and I highly recommend checking that out if you haven't yet. This video is going to be more focused on introducing a nail grinder for the first time to a more hesitant, unsure dog. We're going to focus on desensitizing the dog to the grinder in slow, gradual steps so that it becomes a good experience and won't be a source of fear or stress for your pup. All about nail grinders. First, let's talk about dog nail grinders in general. A dog nail grinder is a dog grooming tool that uses a rotating bit to file your dog's nails instead of cutting them with a clipper. A lot of dogs do better with nail grinders because they aren't as forceful as clippers, which, when used to clip nails, make a loud snapping sound that can really frighten more skittish dogs. Plus, it's much easier to accidentally hit a dog's quick when you use a clipper. The quick is the sensitive part of the nail that contains blood vessels and nerves. Cutting into the quick causes pain and bleeding, and it's a big reason why some of even the sweetest, most gentle pups will growl and get very upset with someone who comes at them with a nail clipper. My childhood dog never bared his teeth at me, unless I would try to clip his nails. And he got that way due to negative experiences where we would accidentally cut to the quick. Even one of these nail clipping gone wrong occasions can poison nail clippers for your dog. Now, can you rebuild trust around nail clippers and get your dog to feel more comfortable around them? Absolutely. But honestly, I find the grinder is just so much easier. With a grinder, you can slowly chip away at your dog's nail bed and can usually see when you're getting close to the quick. Grinders designed for dogs' nails are also pretty quiet, so they aren't usually as scary for the dog. With clippers, I always get so tense and nervous I'm going to cut to the quick. Grinders just feel like the easier, safer option. Plus, you can do some fancy stuff, like round the nail tips, so that they won't be as likely to scratch you or furniture. Regardless of if you use a grinder or clipper, you really can't just ignore your dog's nails. It's really important to keep them trimmed to an appropriate length. The general rule is that you want the nails to be just short enough that you don't hear your dog's nails click against the floor when they walk. Having long nails can be uncomfortable and even painful for dogs to walk on. It's like wearing shoes that are too small for us all the time. Over time, this can cause your pup to change their posture or gait, which can lead to other issues like back pain or even joint problems. Okay, before we get into the desensitization process, let's talk about what you need for this exercise. First off, you need a nail grinder. There are many models available on the market, but I recommend choosing one that is cordless, quiet, and has adjustable speeds. I've been using this one, but honestly, there are dozens of these kinds of grinders online, and most of them seem very similar. I'll link to a few recommended ones in the video description. If you have any older Dremel lying around, I definitely recommend upgrading to something newer. I had an 8-year-old Dremel from grinding the nails of my previous dog, and I was blown away by how much quieter the newer grinders are. Once I switched to a newer, quieter version, Remy did a lot better with this process. Next, you'll need some treats. You need to reward your dog for being calm and cooperative during the process. Choose something that your dog loves and is easy to eat, like small pieces of cheese or chicken, a comfortable space. You'll need to find a spot where you and your dog can relax and have enough space to work on the nails. You can use a couch, a bed, or a mat on the floor. For this video, I just did Remy's nails while he was standing, but some dogs might do better lying down. Find what works for you. Good lighting. I personally love doing Remy's nails in front of the back door because I can get a lot of light and see really well. I'd suggest finding a well-lit area for your grinding practice. All right, before we get into the desensitization process, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. You will displease Remy if you refuse. And if you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I love hearing from you guys. Okay, it's time to talk desensitization. So with the nail grinder desensitization, the number one rule of this process is don't go too fast. The goal here is to slowly and gradually expose your dog to the grinder, all while using food to create a positive association with the tool. You'll need to repeat each step in the process several times until your dog is comfortable before moving on to the next part. It's really, really important to not push your dog past his comfort level. You're probably going to hear me say that several times throughout this video. It's much better to go slowly and take your time than to rush your dog too quickly to the next stage and have a negative experience that will then take longer to recover from. Depending on your dog's personality and tolerance, this process may take a week or even several weeks. Okay, so with that in mind, let's introduce your dog to the nail grinder. Part 1. Introducing the nail grinder. When you first introduce your dog to the nail grinder, all you're going to do is spread some treats around the grinder while it's off. You can scatter the treats around the grinder while it's laying on the floor, or while it's in your hand, resting on or near the floor. Let and even encourage your dog to sniff and explore the grinder and eat the treats. Praise your dog for being curious and brave. I'd suggest doing this 20 to 30 seconds, ideally 3 to 4 times throughout the day. We want to keep these encounters short and enjoyable. And honestly, that's a general rule for the early stages of any type of dog training or behavior work. Part 2, giving treats while the nail grinder is on. The next step is to turn on the nail grinder and give your dog treats while it's running. Here, we're helping your dog get used to the sound of the grinder. Start with the lowest speed and hold the grinder away from your dog's body, just letting it run while you're holding it. Let your dog hear and see the grinder while you feed him treats or do treat scatters. Praise your dog for being calm and relaxed. Turn the grinder on and off and repeat this process several times throughout the day. Depending on your dog's comfort level, you may need to spend several days working at this stage. Part 3, giving treats while pressing the grinder against the dog's nails while it's off. Next, we'll continue to dispense treats while you pick up your dog's paw and press the grinder against the nail tip while the grinder is off and not running. Many dogs feel uncomfortable with their paws being handled, so it's important to spend some time working at this stage just handling your dog's paws and pressing the grinder to the dog's nail without the tool actually on. If your dog really seems to be struggling as you start picking up their paws and they're pulling away a lot, they may need more time spent on just getting desensitized to paw handling. In that case, you'll want to just spend time offering treats or licking mats while you spend time just picking up the dog's paws and handling them. It's not unusual for dogs to struggle with having their paws touched, so don't hesitate to spend more time simply getting your dog accustomed to paw handling. Start with one paw and gently touch each nail to the grinder that's not on. You can do a treat scatter while you do this, or give your dog a treat after each touch. Praise your dog for being patient and just oh so cooperative. When it comes to desensitization, usually your best bet is always going to be doing shorter sessions more frequently. The longer you extend the session, the more likely your dog is to get nervous and uncomfortable. Short sessions keep the experience positive, and more frequent sessions help reinforce to your dog that these sessions aren't anything to be concerned about. Again, depending on your dog, you may want to spend more than one day working on tapping the turned off grinder to the nails. Part 4, tapping the grinder to the dog's nails while it's on. The fourth step, of course, is finally tapping the turned on grinder against your dog's nails. Hooray! But even once you've reached this stage, we still want to keep all interactions with the grinder short and sweet. Your goal at this stage isn't actually to grind your dog's nails. You're still just desensitizing your dog to the grinder and the odd feeling of the vibration on his nails. So when you tap the grinder to your dog's nails, it's just going to be a quick little tap. You won't really be grinding the nails at all, and that's okay. That is not what we're trying to accomplish right now. As with every stage here, you'll want to let your dog dictate the speed at which you progress. For some dogs, just feeling the grinder against one nail that day will be all they can handle. Other dogs may tolerate a full paw, but others will need more time and will need this process to proceed over a few days. Part 5, grinding for real. From there, you're going to build up tolerance by gradually increasing the duration and pressure of grinding each nail. Once you've done the basic desensitization and are ready to really get grinding, you'll probably still just want to work on one paw per day. And even then, don't expect to get the nail fully down at once. I'd suggest doing just 5 seconds per nail and breaking up the process a few times a day across the course of a week. Also remember, even once your dog has been desensitized to the grinder, you'll want to keep bringing it out, ideally once a week, even if your dog's nails are a good length. If you don't need to actually grind them, just tap them against the nail. If you don't use the grinder for a long period, you may lapse a bit in terms of your dog's comfort level. So try to make it an ongoing weekly or bi-weekly checklist item so you don't lose all of that desensitization progress you've made. Evaluating your dog's comfort. We've talked a lot in this video about how important it is to let your dog set the pace. So, how can you tell when you need to slow down or even take a step back during the desensitization process? Throughout each stage, you'll need to pay attention to your dog's body language and signals. Lip licking, yawning, excessive panting, and whale eye are all obvious signs of distress and anxiety. We'll link to our full guide on dog body language below, so definitely check that out for a full overview of what to look for. If your dog is resorting to growling or baring his teeth, these are more obvious signs that your dog is really scared and really needs you to slow down. As frustrating as it is, it's also really important to respect your dog's right to say no. You'll likely notice your dog pulling their arm or leg back repeatedly during various stages. This is one of the more low-key ways a dog may say, I'm really not crazy about this. Doing this with Remy, my general rule is if he yanks his paw back more than twice, we stop and take a break. The entire goal of this desensitization exercise is to get your dog to opt into the process. If he's not opting in, you're not making this experience worthwhile enough. It's your goal to convince your dog that getting his nails grinded down is worth it. In many cases, this might mean using extra special treats during the grinding process. Be prepared to feel frustrated. It can really take some time, but the benefits of having a dog whose nails you can easily grind without stress or fear is well worth it. How Remy and I do nail grindings. The system outlined above is perfect for desensitizing your dog to the grinder, and that may be all you need for stress-free grinding sessions. But I do want to share how I do things with Remy in case it's helpful. For Remy, we developed a system I love where I'll smack a peanut butter covered licking mat to the door and let him lick it, so long as he lets me trim his nails. If he pulls his paws back more than twice and isn't letting me grind the nails, I'll use my body to block the licking mat, or even put a piece of cardboard in front of it to block it. Then I'll wait a few seconds for him to recover and offer access to the peanut butter again. If Remy steps forward and begins licking the mat, I'm going to grind his nails. Here's the thing though. At any point in time, Remy can step away and stop licking the mat to say, hey, I've had enough. I'm not going to chase him down. I'm not going to drag him back. He is allowed to say no. But he's only going to get the peanut butter if he lets me handle his paws and grind his nails. Usually when he steps away, I'll wait a few seconds to see if he wants to come back and proceed. I consider approaching and licking the mat to be opting into the exercise. If he's decided he's had enough, I take the mat away and he does not get to finish the peanut butter. I find this arrangement really works and everyone wins. Remy gets his boundaries respected, and I get to grind his nails in exchange for peanut butter. My goal is always to get Remy to opt into the grooming experiences. I want to avoid forcing him to do anything as much as possible. Establishing this kind of trust and respecting your dog's boundaries when you can does so much for their confidence and really strengthens their relationship with you. Remember, the goal is to make nail grinding a positive and enjoyable experience for both you and your dog. So, be patient, be gentle, and be consistent. Don't force your dog to do something he doesn't want to do. Work at your dog's pace and celebrate every small success, no matter how small. And that's it. That's how you desensitize your dog to getting his nails grinded with a nail grinder. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and informative. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe for more dog training and dog care tips and tricks. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.